Why does it look like this? Anyway, hello, happy Juneteenth. I am currently, as you can see, breastfeeding my son. He is so irritated today. But anyway, so I'm just chilling out, just kind of laying around. I just got through taking a shower and shaving and all that good stuff. So now I'm in bed, just laying around and breastfeeding my kid. Yep, so those of you who may not really know me that well, so I've breastfed all of my kids. Um, my longest one that I breastfed was my baby, well, my 6-year-old, she's 6, before him. So my kid that I had before my son, I breastfed her for 3.5 years. Um, on demand. She never, well, at first she started out taking the bottles. She started out taking bottles for like 2.5 to 3 months of her life, the beginning as a newborn. And over time, she stopped taking the bottles. Although those bottles, I pumped my milk for those bottles. And and then one day I'll never forget it. I was sitting out in the living room. I had just got through pumping like 6 ounces for her. Like, it was such a waste. And she just purely did not want that milk. She didn't want it out of the bottle. So she wanted the milk, just not from a baby bottle. She wanted it strictly from the cow. Cow, that is. And so ever since then, I just breastfed, and I became like basically an expert breastfeeding mom. And my next baby that we're going to have, we're wishing for a girl, but our next baby that we're going to have, I will be breastfeeding that baby as well until she no longer wants to be breastfed. Same thing with my son, who just currently turned a year old, but technically he's 11 months old because I had him prematurely. And guess how many pounds he wore? He weighed in at 7 pounds and 5 ounces. Yeah, I have big babies. But yeah, so yeah, back to my daughter before him, my kid before him. So yes, I did plan on breastfeeding her, but I only wanted to breastfeed her for about 6 months because I had a bad experience with one of my other kids who I breastfed for 12 months. So before the 3.5 years of breastfeeding, there was another kid before her who I breastfed for 12 months. And she was like the most spoiled kid you could ever meet. She was very feisty, very aggressive, and I just did not want to go through that again. So I planned on feeding my baby before him for like 6 months. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, or fortunately, it worked out that way. I don't know, but I had a hard time breastfeeding that kid because she was like so addicted to it. But anywho, so she ended up just refusing the pumped out milk or whatnot. Hi, thanks for joining. She ended up refusing the pumped out milk that I used to pump, and I would say about, because I used to pump maybe like every hour and a half or an hour or something like that. So I would spend all of that time out of my 24 hours in a day on pumping, okay, just for her to turn around and refuse the bottle. So anyway, I tried it again a couple of times or so. I would continue to try to enforce a bottle to her, and I wouldn't say introduce it to her because she left the hospital drinking bottles, which the bottles were filled, of course, with my pumped out milk. But again, she preferred to get it straight from the cow. And I had no choice. I had to feed my baby, so I had no choice. I was already a stay-at-home mom. So I took that time, and I pretty much was like, you know what, I'll make this pretty much like a breastfeeding journey. And it turned out fine, as far as me producing for all those years for her. But like I said, like, after your kid turns one, especially a kid like her, she was already crawling at 4 months old. She was already sitting up at 4 months old. She was already walking by the time she was 10 months old. She was already standing up at 6 months old. I have videos to prove it if you don't believe me. But she was already standing up on her own for a few seconds at 6 months old already. She was already walking around the couch and holding herself up, walking around the window, holding herself up, looking out the window. She was already doing those things. So for me to still have been breastfeeding a kid who's so advanced and so demanding, it just really put like a damper on me. And I was pretty aggravated by it. So, because like even with her, if I was going to be doing any breastfeeding, to me, ideal what would have been for me, it would have been 6 months tops. But again, that's the only thing that she would take was the breast milk. She started solids when she was about 13 months old. So I tried her on solids when she was about 13 months old. And then finally, that's where my menstrual returned when she turned 14 months old. So this is how you know that I breastfed her exclusively on demand. What happens is if you're breastfeeding your kid, if you're breastfeeding them around the clock with no solid foods, no combination of what it's called, milk brand, or whatever you would call it, combination milk, or the formula. Yeah. So if you're not giving your baby anything outside of breastfeeding your baby, your periods will not return. Okay, your periods will not return. Breastfeeding is it's a very good natural birth control. So from what I've researched, it says up to like 6 months. However, it lasted me for all of those months, even when my menstrual returned after 14 months. Okay, it still kept me where look at him. They still never returned. It was still a very great form of birth control for me. So basically, I believe what happens is once your body gets in the swing of things and gets used to whatever the dynamics of your new adjustment of the body is, even when your period does return, I believe after, as long as I did it, when mine came back at 14 months, when my child was 14 months old, I think it just, it's your body is like kind of like on remind, almost like, um, like muscle remembrance. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that, almost like a muscle remembrance. Hi, thanks for joining. So I think that's what happens. But yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just sitting up here. I was just telling the story about breastfeeding and things. I never got a chance to put the description in there. So that's what I was talking about. And I got my baby on the booby. So right now I have successfully breastfed him for a whole 12 months so far. No problems with my milk, never have. My other baby, like I said, I breastfed her for 3.5 months exclusively on demand, and that's what it was. So, so that's all I was talking about. But yeah, so right now I am just waiting for my hubby. He's cooking a late breakfast, a breakfast slash brunch, or whatever you want to call it. But let me tell y'all what he's cooking right now. So he's in there frying some eggs. So he's scrambling some eggs. He's making potatoes. He's making some Italian sausages. So he's doing a combination of two. The combo is the mild Italian sausage and sweet Italian sausage. That's what I wanted. So that's what he got. And I also requested that he put some onions and bell peppers in that. It's going to be the shit. So whatever else he's making, I don't know. But I know that's what I wanted. I have to eat like heavy meals and stuff so that I can feed my baby. I'm about to get up real quick, turn the light on. I probably should have been did that. Oh well. I don't know. I think I'm going to just sit up here and finish listening to my Bible audio and, just lay around. I'm going to lay around. It's Juneteenth. I'm not really celebrating Juneteenth or whatnot. I guess I'll watch the people around the world celebrate it for maybe 15 minutes. But it's not really a tradition of mine. I love my black folks and everything, of course, which just because I don't celebrate it doesn't mean I don't love my black folks, okay? It's just something that I haven't gotten into the swing of things of, celebrating Juneteenth because we've just never did it. Like we've celebrated every holiday, every American holiday, but I've never celebrated Juneteenth or whatever. And it could be because of my Indian background. I'm not sure. But that's something that my parents, they just never celebrated it. They've never taught it to us. We've never made a big dish for Juneteenth and all of that stuff. We just never have done that before. So I think that's why it's not that important to me, because it just never was instilled in me. Maybe my kids will, maybe if I do decide to make it a part of our tradition or something like that, maybe my kids will celebrate it with their kids when we get older. So it's just one of those things. Look at him, fell asleep, knocked out. But yeah, so if anybody is wondering, like, why is she on here breastfeeding her baby? Let me tell you. For one, it's my prerogative. That's number one. Number two, I'm home. I'm in the privacy of my own home. And whatever I decide to share, I made that choice. There's nothing you can get out of a mom doing something that is natural. There's no harm or harsh benefit that you can get out of me legally feeding my kid, breastfeeding him, his source of nutrition, the gift that God gave me to be able to breastfeed my baby. So before anybody come up on this video or stumble up on this video, or anybody who, because I have people who don't even like me that follows me on here, and I kind of wish that I would have never even put my social media, well, not social media, but my YouTube business even on any of my social media platforms. So this is how the little handful of people, because most people actually like me for real, okay, and actually love me for real, and actually support me for real. But I'm talking to maybe the 5 people who just get on here just to watch my life, just for the heck of it, or whatever, because you really can't get to me, or I don't allow you to talk to me face to face. You cannot physically be around me or whatever. So you have to look on this screen and your phone to see what Just Being Lily is doing. So I'm talking to those people, y'all. They know who they are. I just got to the point. It's like, you know what? Fuck them. They're going to watch. Go ahead and waste your time and watch. I'm not watching you, though. But, okay, cool. Watch. Who cares? Watch. Watch these blessings fall. Watch this glory. Watch me continue to expand my family. Watch me to continue to be wealthy and rich. Because I am rich. I'm rich physically. I'm rich mentally. I'm rich because I have a great family. Physically, I'm rich because I have eyes that I can see. I have a nose that I can smell with. I have a mouth that I could taste with and talk with. I have teeth that I could chew with. I have hands. I have motion in my hands. There are so many things that we are rich in. It's a lot of free things that we are rich in. And those are the things that I embrace in life. I'm rich. That's right. I'm rich. You know? But yeah, so that's a message to my haters. That's a message to.
Come on, baby.
Okay, babe, I'm coming. And that's a message to, my supporters. So if you do got haters and they're hating on you or envious of you or they despise your life or whatever the case may be, let them know you're rich. You're rich. Physically, mentally. You're not in nobody's jail cell. You're not in nobody's hospital. You're not battling all these different health conditions. You got all your limbs. You're rich. You're rich. Okay? So I'm about to get off of here. I never titled my video. My husband just came in and let me know that he's done cooking and I'm about to go eat. I'm about to sneak away from this little boy right here because he's breastfeeding. And hold on, let me see what I can do here without y'all seeing everything. Shh! Get out, get out. So, toodaloo.